BLU Smartphones, made by the company BLU, BLU, which specializes in affordable smartphones. Definitely an option if you don't really need a smartphone, don't really use a smartphone that much, and therefore are not really interested in paying hundreds of dollars for a phone with certain specifications that might not be needed. And just maybe around the $100 range, maybe a little more than $100. There's plenty of options from this company, BLU. Just make sure that whatever phone you're buying is compatible with your phone plan. So let's get started with this video. What do we have here? We have 5 BLU phones. I just wanted to see, never really tried this myself, which phone will start up the fastest to the main menu, which phone will turn on the fastest. Now, just keep in mind that with BLU phones, even though it's definitely nice that there are some that are around the $60 range, sometimes it is a case of you get what you pay for. Buying the cheapest, very cheapest BLU smartphone certainly doesn't guarantee the same performance as maybe a $150 phone, though there are some exceptions. In some cases, you will get much more than you pay for, but just keep in mind that from having probably maybe 9 or 10 of these smartphones from BLU, I can see that gradually as you pay a little bit more money, the performance does get a little bit better overall, with some exceptions. So sometimes you do get what you pay for, but it's nice that there are options if you really don't use a smartphone that much. So maybe just some calling, texting, maybe some light internet browsing, but definitely for me personally, I don't want to pay several $100s. So having an option to pay $100 for a very good performing smartphone, $130 is a good option. So I know this isn't going to be exact because I'm going to have to turn them on one by one really quickly, but we're going to see which one turns on the fastest. We've got the cheapest one that I've purchased previously. These are prices based on how much I spent on these phones. Prices fluctuate all the time, obviously. So we have the BLU J9L, the BLU G51S, the BLU G61S, the BLU S91, and lastly, the one that we purchased most recently, the BLU G52L. This one cost me about $90, the J9L, the G51S about $110, G61S about $130, the S91 about $150, the G52L about $100. I'm rounding, using round numbers here and there. So let's see which one is going to turn on the fastest. I think the one that, well, I already know might be the slowest is the BLU J9L, because unfortunately, I've had a little bit of problems with that one, sometimes taking a long time to turn on. So without further ado, I'm just going to try to turn these on almost at the same time really quickly so we can see which one will start up the fastest. I don't know if it's going to prove anything. I don't want to draw any conclusions, but since I never did this, I might as well make a video, might as well film it. So let me find the power buttons here and here. And really quickly, here we go. So those are going. And this one obviously has the least head start. The BLU G61S has the least head start here because it took me a good 5 to 10 seconds more. So let's just see what happens. Okay, so the BLU S91 does have a PIN number, so I'm going to enter that right away. Forgot about that. So, what's interesting and what actually surprised me is that though I have had some problems in the past with the BLU J9L, this particular device, I've had 3 of these. This particular device did start up very quickly. They all started around the same time. This one is a little bit different because it actually had a PIN number to access to let the phone finish starting up. So it's difficult for me to say here what happened, because what would have happened if I didn't have a PIN. But this one was fairly quick, but then keep in mind after I entered the PIN, it had to continue starting up a little bit more. But for this test, it was really, with the exception of this one, I mean, this one looked like it took the longest, the G51. Sorry, G61S, but that's because I turned it on the last. So adjusting for that, it was all around the same time. So I've never had a problem with any of these phones yet, and if I do, I'll be sure to make a video. I did mention on one of my videos that I did have a problem with, not this one, but another one of the devices I had where it was taking 2 to 3 minutes to start up. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you pay like $150 like this one, I've never had a problem with this one starting up. If you pay more money, on average, I'm going to say you might expect better performance, but not necessarily. Just my experience. This one, another device I had, the same model though, J9L, was having problems, which is why I stopped using it. Now I use the Blue S91, where it would start up it'd take 2 to 3 minutes to start up, which for me was not acceptable because I need to show my electronic ticket on the Metro North, and that was a problem. If I can't to open the app, then I cannot show the ticket. So, especially if the phone doesn't turn on. For this test, they all seem to go, really interestingly enough, almost the same time. So that gives me an indication that, surprisingly, these phones are just all around the same kind of performance, at least on the surface. But I will say, if you use the J9, when I used my J9L, not this one, but different device, over time I saw it started to take a little bit longer to start up. So a little bit frustrating, but that's why these phones are cheap. They're not perfect, but overall I am incredibly satisfied, because if there's a problem with the phone, since it's cheap, I can just get another one. It's not like I spent $300, $200, $300. If I spend $100, if I spend $90, okay, worst case scenario, I get a new one, and even then I'm not spending that much money. So that was my test. It didn't really prove anything, but nice to see them all here. I'm really happy with these phones. They're quite large. Most of the displays are quite large, and it's nice to have an option to purchase phones that don't cost that much money for people who don't use their phones that much, like me. I mean, there could be situations in which I would enjoy having unlimited internet, but I don't, and I don't really miss it. So a good option if you don't want to spend too much money on a phone. Just keep in mind you have to research to make sure whatever phone you're buying works with your cell phone plan. These are unlocked, so it'll work with certain carriers, but maybe not all of them, so just make sure before you buy your phone. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. These are some Blue smartphones that I've purchased over the last couple of years, and I do like that we have options to buy phones that are not too expensive. If we don't really need those high performance, these like different, really awesome specifications, it's just, I don't really use my phone so much, so it's not for me. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Blue Smartphones.